last week, and those was a little bit dangerous for you guys in the first half. How are you guys going to address that this week?
Well, I think it's got to be addressed on every single play, but there's a lot of things that go into a play like that. Usually there's 2 or 3 things that went obviously the wrong way, and we got to be just more on our details from right after a play. We always talk about winning the pre-snap, getting the call, getting lined up, communication, those type of things. Those can eliminate a lot of the issues, and then our fundamentals and technique have to be on with a team like Marshall, which is coming in ready to roll this week.
All was saying you guys were tackling very hard today. What did you see in the tackling in the first half that you felt like you need to address this week?
Well, we saw a lot of the problems that show up. I mean, we saw the reasons why you do the drills, the reasons why you practice it. You get on your heels a little bit. Got a lot of guys lunging instead of running before they reach. All those little things that we preach, it just shows up, and it's normal. I mean, if you've watched all the first games, going back to Miami and Florida and all those things, you see guys, it's just how it goes. And we were really trying to guard against that, but it showed up big time for us. And so, doing tackling today was not new. I mean, we've never gone more than one day in a row without doing tackling. But, you just got to keep hammering it. And one big thing that these guys on our defense understand is that those practice reps are the biggest thing. We can't create a drill better than those reps. So, coming in the right body position, eyes in the right spot, all those things have to show up on a continual basis. Otherwise, it's either going to be a good habit or a bad habit, and that goes all the way into walkthroughs as well. So that's the big challenge this week.
How do you see that back end kind of adjust when DeAndre went out pretty early? We saw guys like Tyreek step in, but how do you feel like those guys kind of adjusted?
Oh, I thought they did. I thought they did an unbelievable job. And that was the big thing. You always say, like, hey, you're one play away, but I mean, a guy like Kafari Buffalo, I think, had like 44 snaps, and he didn't know if he was going to get any. Right. So, I mean, it's a big wake-up call for guys. I mean, you got to be locked in and ready for the moment. And those guys did a great job coming in. Made plays, covered up, explosive plays that could have happened. I thought they did an excellent job, but it's a whole new week, and now some of those guys are in different roles, so they have to attack it full speed ahead.
What do you expect to see from Marshall, and what do you think are their strengths?
I think we're going to see first of all, we're going to see a heck of a ball game. I think they got a good ball club. Speaking from their offense, I think they're very physical up front. I think they're a tough team. You can tell that with the way they block all the way from inside all the way to the perimeter. They have explosiveness at the tailback position, no question, both tailbacks. And really, you talk about like Florida State's speed. They have a very good speed on the outside. There really isn't a drop-off from what we saw last week. Quarterback does a good job. He can extend plays. So, the bottom line is we got to be ready to go with our A game. Any game in any week you can get beat if you're not on, but this team, you're going to have to go beat them. They're not going to beat themselves.
We talked to you after the game about the first half to second half differences, and obviously lots been made about that. But when you went back and looked at the film, what kind of stood out to you? What else in terms of just tackling and stuff that was improved?
Well, I think across the board, we were just more aggressive in the second half. I mean, trusting in our ability. That's one of the things we talked about the next day with our guys is trust your own ability. I think we're giving them a little bit too much credit. I think we, give all the credit in the world to them. They made some plays, but I think we were our own worst enemy by far, when we weren't challenging guys like we needed to challenge. And you watched how these guys, came together at halftime and just attacked. And it really started the series before half. I mean, you saw us come out and there was some big hits, big tackles. We were flying around looking like we should look. I mean, these guys have put in too much work to play tentative, and so we intend to play aggressive.
Coach, you talk about aggressiveness, and what do you think of Kate Cowell's performance? I mean, he 4 tackles for loss, more than he had all last season. Is that kind of like how you use your nickel, I guess? Yeah, we want to be aggressive with that position, and that's he, like a lot of people, didn't start the game like he wanted to. I mean, you can ask him. There was definitely some plays that he felt like, and we felt like, shoot, you got to make those plays. But you talk about flipping the switch. He flipped the switch a little bit earlier than other guys, and took advantage of those situations. He played an excellent game from about the second or third series on. The first couple, like our whole defense, he wanted those back, but you can't get them back. So if you respond like that, then you got a chance to win the game.
Coach Harsin was saying after the game, I don't remember the exact wording, but something about just it was your first chance to see these guys live and see your defense and see how it worked in the first half. You had some other new coaches too. I mean, is there anything to that in terms of just kind of seeing the guys and kind of seeing what it looked like and then making the for the adjustments from there?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I feel pretty good that I know these guys pretty well, but yeah, you haven't had them in a game, so you don't really know how everybody's going to respond. You know how they've responded in the past, and you don't know how coaches are going to respond to any of it. I mean, it's first game, but obviously we'd like a little faster response, and so would the player. I mean, we're all in this together, coaches and players, but to see them to really flip the switch like they did, that was impressive, very impressive. But it also, we get to learn from that off a win. And if you give up, if you start a game like that, eventually you're going to learn from it from a loss. So we got to understand we have to start faster. There's no doubt about it.
When you face that adversity like you did in the first half, how important is it to have that leadership on your side of the ball? Guys like Chase, Kala, David, let's go down.
I mean, it's the difference maker. I always say, like, it's not a difference maker, it's the difference maker. I mean, to have guys like that just keep on, sawing wood and keep going and keep going and keep going. Well, eventually those plays get made. We got the momentum and all those things. Like I said, the biggest challenge this week is you shouldn't need that detonator. I mean, right when you walk out of the tunnel, let's roll, man. So, but there'll be things that come up in this game. This is a really good team we're facing. And 9 wins. Went to a bowl game, and they got a lot of guys back. They got an O-line that's veteran. They got really good running backs. I mean, this should be a dogfight. We expect this to be an absolute fight.
You mentioned Buffalo's playing time. How did the secondary kind of run? A lot of guys were in there at different times. How did you guys kind of break out the playing time back there, particularly without DeAndre?
Well, I mean, how did we break it out?
Yeah, in terms of who was doing what back there.
Well, we went into what we were seeing too. I mean, at some point, there's only so many guys available, so it wasn't. There was some things to it off what they were doing. They were throwing the ball a fair bit, but those guys knew they would be ready in those roles. I mean, so it wasn't, all that stuff's planned through the week. I mean, that's why they're getting reps and all those things. You obviously don't want to lose a guy like DeAndre Pierce, and he's going to come back stronger than ever. But, he is an absolute leader back there. So to see those guys come in at that point and play like they did, couldn't be more excited about that. They just got to build on it. That can't be where we finish or where we beat Florida. So that's got to be like a stepping stone. So, I think our guys understand that. It's been good to be around these type of guys. They just got to, like we all got to understand that's over. And that was the plan to win. Like Coach said, it was the plan. So we accomplished the plan. Let's go do the next one.
Hopefully it's something nice about him because he's sitting over there. But when I asked you last week about who stood out in fall camp, you mentioned Chase right away.
No question.
Had a sack in the game against Florida State. So what has stood out to you about him and what he brings to the table?
Well, one thing about him is, he's all in. I mean, he is absolutely all in. And when you have that, we always talk about the discipline, toughness, conviction, but he is conviction. I mean, he is all into what he does. He's obviously a talented player, does those type of things, but I think it's the intangibles that he brings to the table. I mean, he's a tough kid, and he plays that way. And like I said, if you're all the way bought in, you've played in this many games, you get others to buy in. I mean, just the way he carries himself. If I'm a younger guy, I'm trying to be better just because of how he is.
With a guy like Curtis, before you got here, I mean, he was more of a specialized guy that was coming in certain packages, and his role grew last year. But I don't even know if he left the field for you guys on defense.
Not once.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, how much has he evolved, and how big was that kind of nail in the coffin sack? He came close a number of times and finally got home there.
Yeah. He's obviously a special player. There's no doubt about it. And he's played a lot of spots on this defense prior to, which, for me coming in, it's like, well, shoot, he's already played this, he's played that. It gives you versatility. But, to see him step up and play with energy for 65 plays straight, that's pretty impressive. But, we put ourselves in a position where we needed it, and he stepped up, and they gave him a one-on-one, which eventually they're going to have to, right? So he took advantage of it.